Forgive me, BrewTubers, for I've sinned. It's been late April since my last Homebrew Wednesday. No comments to videos, no responses to comments. I truly am sorry. Hold on. Don't want the YouTube powers that be to get on me, and I don't want to be blasphemous either. Sorry. Just having a little fun. Guys, it's Andrew from Not on Sundays. I'm finally back. Finally back. A little bit more tan. Not any more rested. But I got a good beer in my hand. And it's time for another round. So, I don't know what day this is going to be. I don't know, it's Homebrew Wednesday, but this is the first video I put out in a long time other than the tasting review. April 29th. It's been over 2 months. But I'm going to jump right into this, guys. So what I'm going to do here, first apologize. I've not put out any videos. I've not been responding to comments on videos. I've not been commenting very much. I really have been keeping up pretty well with everybody's videos. I've just been doing a crappy job of letting y'all know I'm out there. As if anybody really missed. But anyway, so first apologize to that. I'm gonna get better. I'm getting back on this train, y'all. But in that sense, I'm gonna run through all the stuff that's happened in the last like 2 months. So grab your popcorn. I'm gonna get through this as fast as I can. Some of it I'll go into a little detail. Some I won't go into detail at all because this may be a long one. I apologize. Having a glass of a session pale ale that is in my kegerator right now. It needs some tweaks, but it's pretty good. 3.2% alcohol, and it's pretty darn yummy. So what I've actually done, I don't usually have notes to go off of, but I've got notes. I've got an outline over here on a computer because I wrote down so much stuff that's gone on. So give you a kind of a snapshot into what's been happening the last 2.5 months or so. So let's do it. I'm going to jump right into what's been going on with my brewing realm. And it's a lot, but I'm going to try to run through it, try not to belabor the point. So, first off, I put together a new fly sparge method. I've alluded to it before. I think it's what Carlisle Smith did with a 25-foot copper coil. Drilled some holes in it, and I made myself a new HLT. Also note, I may or may not add videos to the end of this rant, but I'll probably put some pictures just as a reference on some of this stuff. I did take a video of that fly sparge system. I may get to that later. We'll see. Who knows? So I got the new fly sparge system. I made a new HLT, so that's pretty cool. I racked the dark Brett Porter kind of thing, the party guile that I did off of my Imperial Stout. It's tasted pretty darn cool, but I secondaried it and put it in the closet. I tasted the sour that's in my barrel again, and I got a little scared. I'm a little worried about it. It tasted a little bit acetic, so I'm a little bit worried about the possibility of some acetobacter. It looked like the level had dropped a little bit in that barrel, so I'm kind of hoping I didn't wait too long to pull that off. But what I did do is I emptied that barrel. I filled it right back up with a new golden sour that I had put on about 3 weeks ago into a carboy, and then I actually did another golden sour, put it right back on top of that Bug Farm. It was actually ECY Bug Farm in that carboy, so that thing is going nuts in the closet right now. That was actually yesterday I did all that. I bottled a goose, so don't attack me. A goose style, I guess. So I'm gonna use lambic and goose. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. So I have a 1, 2, and 3 year Alembic that I've been working on for quite some time. The 1 year and the 3 year are all commercial type strains of mixed cultures. The 2 year though is where I kind of got really, I don't know, creative, but it gets a little bit more interesting because the 2 year is actually one that I did a cool ship of sorts. It wasn't really a cool ship, but I harvested yeast out of the yard, out of the cool night air. Used that in my 2 year step of the blend of the goose, and it turned out pretty spectacular. Really kind of the epitome of my brewing in the last several years is now in bottles. I've got several of them. We'll see who gets to taste them. I'm hoping to get some of them out. We'll see what happens. So that's there. I did a double mash, a session beer, 2 beers, 1 mash. One is my concept that I came up with for the SJ Pour Challenge, which I'm super stoked about. But I'm not going to talk about it. At least not now. I don't know. We'll see. But this was the other beer that came out of that single mash. It was a pretty simple grain bill, but did a 10-gallon batch and got 2 beers out of it. Got this session pale, and then my possible SJ Pour, either prototype or it turned out so well, I'm thinking about just entering that one. We'll see. I had something on here I'm not going to go into. We racked on, I say we, my buddies and I racked an Imperial Stout. It's a Bell's Expedition Stout clone-ish beer. We racked that into our wheated whiskey barrel. That's been sitting for almost 3 months now. So that shows you how long it's been since I've done an update. It's been sitting, it's really nice. One of the guys went, that was disgusting, sorry. One of the guys went and took a taste, said it's coming out really nicely. He said the whiskey and the oak is a little bit more subtle than we would be hoping for at this point. So I'm not sure if we're going to get a lot of whiskey and oak in there, but it's going to be nice. So we're pumped about it. I think we're going to leave it in there for another month or 2 though. We've already discussing what we want to do after that Imperial Stout comes out. We're throwing around the idea of a Belgian triple with Brett oak aged. Think on that. Oh, part of the golden sour that I did yesterday. So yes, I did pitch it on top of a Bug Farm yeast cake, but I also added a culture that I've kind of been messing with. I got the Black Man Yeast Flemish blend mixed culture. It's a dry sour culture. It was getting a little old, so I went ahead and kind of did a starter-ish for that yeast. But then I also took that when I first pitched it and threw in a couple flowers of honeysuckle. I had some honeysuckle out in the yard, so I threw some honeysuckle into the starter, let whatever was on those honeysuckle go, and that played a part in the culture of whatever was in there. It smelled really fantastic, and so I actually added that into the golden sour I did yesterday, along with the Bug Farm cake. So give it just an extra little dimension, hopefully. I've got the ECY Dirty Dozen I've got to use. Not sure when I'm going to get to use that or what I'm going to use it for, but I'm excited to use it. The hops are going nuts. The hops are going nuts for me. If you see something like Kevin Clements, like his hops are just ridiculous right now. But for me, I thought the plants were dead to begin with. They're doing really well. I might add a quick video on the end just to kind of show you where they're at. Let's see. Last thing on the brewing front. I got a I added the picture at the end. a really, really cool treat. I jumped onto, so I'm a part of the Milk the Funk group on Facebook, and there's a guy out there who did a hybrid yeast between the Conan strain and the WLP 644, which is the Sactois, used to be Bretois. So he did a hybrid, and it's on to its second. He's got two, I'm gonna mess it up if I try to get too technical. He's got two different versions of it, the original version and then a subsequent version, and they're a little bit different. I'll let you read the descriptor. But the dude's in Finland. He's awesome enough that he's cultured up these yeasts and are giving them out for dirt cheap tests, so that we can kind of get some tests on them. So I've got two tiny little vials of that yeast that I'm going to build up and jump into some cool, hopefully new experiment beers. So that's all, most of the stuff on the brewing front. There's been stuff here and there. I've got a brown ale that's in the firm chamber right now that's been there for about a week. It's probably done fermenting. I'll let it sit for a little while longer. But it's a brown that I kind of copied a little bit off of, but did some of my own tweaks too. And then I think I'm going to add rum-soaked raisins and then probably some of the rum itself to it. So hopefully it's going to be a nice silky, rummy brown ale. And I'm jonesing for one. Wally the Gnarly Brown. Anyway, part of the reason I've been away from the interwebs, I've been doing a lot of traveling for work, and then some other beer-related stuff that I'll get to. I'm gonna jump through these real quick. Went to Cancun for work. Not the worst place in the world to have to go to a conference, but the beer was terrible. Refreshing, but terrible. Got to Seattle. Was in Seattle for a work conference for several days. Sadly, I didn't get to see a whole lot on the beer front. I had some Deschutes, I had some Pike, but not a whole lot really that I got to do there. Got some really local wines and some insane cheese that I brought back, and the wife and I enjoyed, so that was really cool. The event that we did, the conference had things going on every night. The first night, they rented out the entire Space Needle and the surrounding area down at the base. So the Chihuly Gardens, I think that's how you say it. So the blown glass, just ridiculous. It was amazing. So we had the Space Needle the first night. The second night, they rented out all of CenturyLink Field, the Seahawks Stadium. And so we had tours of the stadium. We got to hang out on the field. We got to kick field goals and catch punts. And it was just, it was my, like, I was a kid in a candy store. It's also where I got this hat. I'm a very, very loyal sports fan, and I'm kind of embarrassed to be wearing a different team hat, but I like it, and don't judge me. Got to meet Doug Baldwin at the Seahawks Stadium. They also had Clint Dempsey from the U.S. men's team came in, and they were taking pictures, so I'll throw up a picture of that I got with Doug Baldwin. Went to Charleston for a wedding. Had never been to Charleston before. Ridiculous food and some really good beer too. We hit up Holy City on our way in, and the beers were really good. They were solid, nothing to like crazy write home about. The food was insane for as tiny as this place was. We had a burger. My wife got a burger that was like bacon, fried green tomatoes, pimento cheese. It was just unbelievably good. And then I had a pulled pork sandwich with like a vinegary mustard based sauce, also with the pimento cheese. Just unbelievable. Quite worth the stop. I also got to go to Westbrook, and I happened to show up on the day they poured on draft Mexican cake for the first time this year, and it was sublime. I don't Yeah, so Mexican was unbelievable. The tap house was really cool. It looked like it was still a little bit under construction, but it was nice. The other thing that I had, though, I only had time for 2 short pours. One was the Mexican Kate. The second one I had, I wanted to note, I think it's called the Grand Mare, is a strong ale aged in cognac barrels for a year with fresh orange peel. And I'm telling you, maybe it's my taste, who knows. I think that beer was better than the Mexican Kate. I was blown away. Phenomenal. Got to go to Palmetto Brewing there in the city. Good, cool atmosphere. Beer was solid. Went to Leon's Oyster and Poultry place, like a kick butt place to eat. Got a fried chicken sandwich with slaw, and it was sublime. Had a local porter there while I was eating. Outside of Charleston, went to the Orpheus. If you've not heard of Orpheus Brewing here in Atlanta, these guys are amazing, and they're in my wheelhouse because they do a lot of sours, some Belgians, some really top-notch IPAs. I wish I could go into the list of what we had at that event. It blew my mind what we had at that event. Just amazing. 2-year anniversary of Orpheus. So went down there with some buddies. I got to try my first toppling Goliath. Somebody walked into the growler shop while I was there one night with some pseudo Sue. So that was insane. Got to go to Phoenix for a conference as well. Had some decent beer. Went to a place with a ton of taps. Had a couple sours. But that was really nice. But nothing else necessarily to report. Went to Destin with the family for a few days on a beach trip. So that was fun. I had forgotten how amazing High Life is. High Life from Cigar City is quite the beer. And so I grabbed one off the shelf. It was pretty fresh, and just enjoyed myself some High Life. Also had a growler of the oh no, now I forgot the name. Funky Buddha. Funky Buddha's Hefeweizen was really good. Also got the Blackberry Farm Spring Saison, which was phenomenal. Thank you from the mother-in-law for that one. And then my father-in-law every time we go down there, we do the shrimp feast. So we had shrimp scampi, we had skewered broiled shrimp, we had some of the best fried shrimp I have ever had in my entire life. And I had that. That's when I had the Funky Buddha Hefe. Then we went down to Lake Martin in Alabama for the 4th of July, which was always really fun. We do that just about every year with my wife's extended family. The other really cool thing that we got to do, I grew up in Northwest Georgia. I'm near the Georgia-Tennessee border, near Chattanooga. There's this pizza place that's been there forever. Well, forever, for a while, and make really solid pizza called Pie Slingers. And they just started up the first brew pub in that entire area, and it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So Phantom Horse Brewing, they're on a 1-barrel system. But what was super cool is I heard about this place when I went up there for Father's Day weekend to my parents' house. I said, I want to go check this place out. We walk in, or looking in the window, looking at his brew setup and everything. I'm salivating and making a fool of myself looking at this system. The owner/brewer comes over and says, yeah, hey, come over and see the system. So we walk in, and again, I'm drooling and babbling like an idiot because I love he has like he's got a Blickman top tier system with one barrel kettles and he's got the Tower of Power, and he's got bright tanks, and it's just, it's awesome. But he invited us to come back the next day, me and my dad, to come brew with him. And so he was like, yeah, we're brewing tomorrow morning on Father's Day if y'all want to come by and come brew with us. And I was like, yeah, yes, please. So we went back the next day. They were doing their pail, and I just had a blast. The nicest guy in the world and his brewing partner. So shout out to Skip, and Pie Slingers is the name of the pizza joint, and Phantom Horse Brewing. I'm super excited about what they're doing, and thank you for letting us tag along. Kind of wrapping up a little bit. It's been so far, I've been gone for so long, so much has happened. People are moving all over the crazy place. Wally Feck is moved. Nate Pico has moved down to Peachtree City. The family's down there now. Elder's coming in a couple weeks, and I'm hoping to make it down there. Chris from Beaver Dog Brews has, well, he was supposed to be moving, and he got out, and long story, he's moving too. Had some get-togethers with some buddies that we drank some amazing beer. Had a bunch of Wicked Weed, the Marina, which is an apricot sour, a gin barrel-aged sour. We had the Freak of Nature from Wicked Weed, some beautifully fresh 1050 from Oscar Blues that they had just gotten from the source. The Wise Blood IPA from 3 Taverns here. No, not 3 Taverns. Wild Heaven. Man, just a bunch of good stuff. Some Westbrook Goza. Dragon's Milk. Some of my stuff. My SJ Pour possible submission. This guy that went over really well. So yeah, just some awesome times going on. So my absence has been lots of good things. I can't complain whatsoever. My youngest just turned 1 today. We had his birthday party yesterday, so that was so cool. My wife's birthday was 2 days ago, so we've been partying like crazy. Life is good. Life is really good, and I need to make sure to keep my eye on that. Last but not least, to subscribers out there that have stuck around during my absence, thank you. I picked up a few in the last couple days. I have no idea where those came from, but thank you. I really appreciate it, guys. I really do. Like, this is a super cool community, and it really means a lot to me. I do want to do a couple shout outs really quick. I'll do 2. The reason I picked out these 2 is because they are a very small but hopefully growing part of our sector of our community. 2 females we've got on the scene now. I've been way too far remiss from mentioning the Tipsy Knitter. Her channel is the Tipsy Knitter. Nessa Wilson. She was actually in Owensboro in her last video that just got put up, which is where my wife's from. Shout out to Tipsy Knitter. I was an early adopter on her channel, but I've been gone so long I've never given her a shout out. So she's homebrewing. She's a knitter, which I'll admit I don't stick around for a lot of the knitting portions, but it's super cool, like, hobby and skill that I could never do. So shout out to Nessa, Tipsy Knitter. Go check her out. Lastly, the Alewife. So she's not new to brewing, but she's relatively new to the BrewTube scene, but seems really, really cool. She's put up a couple videos of beer tastings, some beer adventures she did to Denver, showing the setup of what she's doing home brewing. It seems like she had a foray for a little while into actually brewing for somebody professionally. So I'd really like to hear more about that. We conversed a little bit. She's really into sours and mixed culture stuff, so I was instantly engaged. But no, cheers to the ladies, both Tipsy Knitter and Alewife. I'll put their links below to their channels. Go check them out, support them. As much as I love the fellas in this community, we don't have many ladies, and it'd be awesome to get more ladies involved too. So this not just a, it's not just all dudes all the time. But anyway, guys, it's been a good run for the last couple of months. Sorry again that I haven't gotten anything meaningful out there. I've got a tasting video from an under the table brewing and F It, Let's Brew It collab. That may have already been posted. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I've gone for almost 26 minutes straight. Sorry. I'm gonna add some photos on the end of this, probably no video, we'll see. But I want to say a huge cheers to you guys out there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be doing some fun stuff soon. Stay tuned, and hopefully have some guest appearances. We'll see. And guys, everybody just be safe out there. Be safe. Give your loved ones a hug. Tell them you love them. Life's too short, too unpredictable. So get out there, have fun. Keep it positive. There's a lot of stuff going on in our world right now that everybody could use a beer and a good sit down and just everybody getting along. Spread the love, y'all. So cheers to everybody out there. Again, this is Andrew from Not on Sundays Brewing, finally back in the foray. Y'all have a great night, great week, and we'll catch you sometime soon. Cheers, guys. It's great to be back. Y'all have a good one. Shooting a little quick footage. This is a good and a bad thing. My dark-ish sour, my brown sour. It's been in the barrel several months. I want to say it's probably like 5 months or so. For a lot of you know, the small barrel sizes can present some problems, and I'm hoping I did not mess up. I've been sampling every couple months. Pulled a sample last night, and it was good, but I could tell it might start to be on the downward spiral. A little bit acidic, not acidic. It was acidic from a sour standpoint, but it tasted a little acidic, I think. Hoping it's not Acetobacter, which will cause a vinegary. There was just a hint of a vinegary taste to it. So I'm trying to get it out of this barrel, get something else in there, which may be a bad thing, maybe a no-no to begin with if I'm smelling, tasting any Acetobacter repercussions. But I'm hoping it's just a little bit of oxidation because I looked back in there, the levels had been low, so it's been exposed to a decent amount of oxygen relative to its volume. So I'm getting this thing out, getting it in a keg. Trying not to let it go any further than it already has, as far as you know, downhill. I'm gonna fill it back up with that right there, which is just a blonde sour that I put in carboy a couple weeks ago. So we'll see what happens, y'all. Hopefully this hasn't gone wrong, but hey, that's what you deal with sometimes. Cheers.